earth does that thumbnail doing there? Haven't I replaced it? Sinquefield Cup. Didn't I replace it? Oh man, do I have to restart now the whole thing again? I hope not. That's weird because that picture shouldn't be there. Anyway. So I'm not going to restart the stream now. No way, Jose. Now, in about like 4 minutes, they're supposed to be playing. Now, but until then, we may have a couple more minutes to attempt to do a couple of puzzles together here. Let me see if we got everything in order here. Monitor, TikTok, Live Center. Let me do a quick reload of the page. Now live on this, on that. Yeah, okay, fine. So apparently we kind of like in order, in good order. We should be live on Twitch and Facebook and YouTube and I lost count. I always forget the fifth one. So anyway, let's try to do this puzzle first, and then we're gonna go to the live broadcast in itself. So what have we got in here? Black to play. Looks to me this bishop is incredibly important in terms of that light square diagonal. Then we got the rook here. I might do something. I'm very, very tempted to go straight away rook g7 to h7, checking the king. I'm very tempted to do that. Then very tempted to do rook h1 straight away. Now the question is, do you know something? What if I need to play an in-between move? You guys know the in-between move, right? The in-between move would be, before you actually proceed with the move, that makes, I think, a lot of sense. Rook h7 followed by rook h1 makes a lot of sense. But if we play this one straight away, it seems that the white king might be able to go over to f2 and things. Whereas if I play an in-between move like rook e8 to f8, I guess then I have to go with the bigger plan. Rook h7, rook h1, which is a checkmate, right? So I think the correct move order would be first thing first, rook e8 to f8. You cut off the f file from the king, and then you proceed rook h7, rook h1. That should be practically winning, if I'm correct. You guys tell me your thoughts. If you think I'm wrong or something, let me know. My TikTok friends, well, okay. You just type it in, guys. You just type it in. Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm going to play the in-between move first. This one. Because it looks to me the black rook can't really be stopped from going to h7. And you can't stop this thing either. So this one is kind of working. Again, I know it's quite tempting to go rook h7 straight away, but after, let's say king g1, you play rook h1 check, they go f2. And what's the deal? If you play rook f8, then they go e2, right? And then you go what? You're just too much of a messing. Rook h2, then nah, you gotta be rook f8. You need to cut it short. So sometimes probably you got to. Hello, Step 65. How's it going, brother? Yeah, look at this in-between move. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna cover the Sinquefield Cup for a while. But until Fabi and the rest of the gang starts playing, I think I'm going to do this quick puzzle now, and then I'm going to check on the live boards. So what do you think about rook f8 as an in-between move? Actually, the first correct move in this puzzle. Step, honestly. What do you think? Should we go this and then this, right? Dude, I hope I'm not wrong. Okay, let's just freaking do it. Oh. How do they stop you, by the way? Oh, they push this. Jesus Christ. All right. Okay. I assume now I have to do it? Yeah. Always the move order. Always the freaking move order, eh? I kind of got the right ideas. All of them, the right ideas. But the move order was capital, no? Actually, I think I misevaluated the the G3 to G4 that could have been played. So that is why rook h7 first, king g1, and then move the freaking rook f8. Ah, well, a little bit too late to being smart now. Let's go back to the broadcast and see if they actually started to play. Watch broadcasts, Sinquefield Cup, yeah. So I'm going to try covering this up for a while. The fixtures are Wesley Alireza, Levon, Duda, Guki playing MVL, Prague, Samuel. Yes, and they had just started, fellas. Okay, there we go. Let me make sure you guys have this on the screen. Yeah, so that's a live game. Again, I'm not sure I'm going to be covering now the entirety of this event unless I get like 1 million views, in which case I'll probably be doing it. But until then, I guess for a while. Feel free to type in your suggestions here in relation with the next moves and stuff. Okay, what are we looking at here? What does white play? Well, it's Queen's Gambit straight away. If you go with c4, they may do g3. They may do e3. They may do bishop f4. I mean, what? London system? What's wrong with this? Bishop f4? No, c4. Exactly. c4, the Queen's Gambit, right? Oh, c5. Now that's going to get very fiery and very spicy now. D takes c5. Very spicy. Guki and MVL now. Takes straight away. Dude, it's like they playing bullet chess or something. That was fast. Capturing on c5. Like bang, like straight away. Straight away. Now MVL is giving some thought here. Guki played immediately. D takes c5. I guess you don't really want to take on c4 because of the queen's exchange, right? So you don't really into that. But hell, you could do... what does black play though? Can you do a check and then grab this guy on c5? So you could take straight away, so to speak. e6. Yeah, it sort of blocks the bishop in, the bishop on c8 in, but I guess you could play it. Yes, there you go. There you go. I don't do this, neither white nor black, but I think the idea, as I've said, now this is some funky choice. So, fellas, bishop c1 to e3? Really? I mean, okay, you keep the c5 still alive. I get it. I understand. But after queen a5, I guess the c5 is going to get captured, right? Interesting. Interesting. Look, bishop e3, not a blunder, but how do you look at that? By the way, can we play knight g4, or is just completely I'm seeing things that don't exist? Yes, it's likely a step. I think g3, bishop g2, looking this way. Given the fact there is a tension in between the c4, d5, I think there's definitely a choice for white. But I just wonder now. So normally we don't want to play twice the same piece in the opening. I get it. Makes sense. But can you play this? Or is this a big blunder already? What's the problem? Queen a5 seems the most normal approach. Queen a5, check and double attack on c5. There's something wrong with this? Hello, Sam. Sam on TikTok. How's it going, brother? How's it going, fellas? Okay, so maybe queen a5. I'm not sure. Queen a5 seems to be okay. The other knight g4 maybe a little bit too premature. But bishop e3 in itself is a maybe unexpected choice. But anyway, I can notice that MVL spent some time before he decides what to do next. So it's not like he moves automatically now, because he doesn't. All right, shall we go quickly to Salmon Prague? Okay, let's see what the boys played from the very start. Yeah, Queen's Gambit. Queen's Gambit, c5. Takes on D, though. Takes. Bishop c8, free to go. Knight f3, knight c6. White to play. Prague to play. What's Prague going to do? You develop the bishop first, or do you play e3 and you block the bishop in? Well, that's to be seen. But so bishop f4 you develop before you play e3. That could be an idea, but I'm not sure. Looks like they moved already. Black had played knight c6 in the previous position. Let me show you here. I thought knight a5 or something, but knight c6 being played by MVL. Step, I think your idea with the fianchetto might be actually the right one. I mean, it's quite appealing to white to doing that. So I think g3, bishop g2, probably they might be played. It makes sense given the tension here. You may want to have a fianchetto. Now knight c3 and stuff. There's something weird with knight g4. What do you do? Probably going to hit the queen or something. But then again, after this, what's going on here? You're going to take, takes. It's a lot of things to consider. Very many things happening already. Anyway, Guki's turn to play. Let's see Prague and Samuel. Prague didn't move nothing. Bishop f4, I'd be thinking. So that would be my first candidate move. It doesn't mean e3 can't be played. It doesn't mean g3 can't be played. That one can be played as well. Bishop f4, g3. Now, if you play g3, probably you're not going to play bishop f4, I guess, because of this kind of ideas. And then you have to move again. So, okay, one of these two. Looks to me. Queen b3. Queen b3 is an idea. I guess you can. Double attack on the d5 together with the knight. But you know about the queen b3 step, actually. Queen b3, let me think. Queen b3, c4. So look at this one step. You play queen b3. Black plays c5 to c4. So what exactly you want to do afterwards? What do you play? I'm not sure about queen b3 here right now. I'm not sure. Maybe not. Unless you want to go back, queen d1. So queen b3, c4, queen d1. I guess you could go queen c2, but I'm not convinced. Still looking at this, still looking at one of these two. Bishop f4, g3. We'll see about that. Let's see Nodibek and Fabi. Nodibek and Fabi. Everyone plays d4 this evening, huh? Everyone's d4. No e4. Okay, bishop g5. Now that's a pin. No more pin. e3. Nice one. You develop the bishop and then you get the e3 played. h6, challenging the bishop. Bishop h4. Attacking queen. Queen moves away. Probably white could play bishop e2, but anyway. Oops, I think I skipped a couple of moves. So queen c2, castle short, h3, attacking bishop. Bishop goes e6, knight f3, develop, develop, develop. Knight e8, challenging the bishop on h4 twice due to the battery, bishop and queen. So now white has to decide if they go g3 or they start trading already. What do you think, guys? Now, if you take with the bishop, let's just assume you take with e7, queen takes. Might you have this kind of stuff? Not really, because there is a check here, dude. There is a queen b4 check attacking. Yeah, but the knight is defended by the bishop. Interesting. Whose turn is it? Nodi? Abdul or Fabi? So, oh, by the way, apologies. He did play bishop g3. Which means, by the way, guys, further pressure on c7. Let me highlight the square. So we got more pressure like this and like this. So that's something. And if you want to consider the queen on the c file, we might have triple attack on c7. I guess that's a weak point for black. That white should be able to try capitalize something. It's good this drink is cold. It's still hot. It's like 20 something plus degrees in London. Well, it's not like 30 plus. It was in the past 1 month ago or something. So anyway, It looks like c7 is something you want to take advantage of. I guess black can shut it off with c6, and then that's that. Bishop d6 though, challenging the bishop on g3. That's a nice way to getting rid of that super active piece. Bishop d3, developing tempo, updo, getting a nice battery here. I guess that can't be a bad idea anyway. Probably rook ac. Probably you take. Anyway, black's turn. Wait a minute. Black's turn to play. If you take on g3, f takes g3. This is forced, by the way. And then probably you could castle short. Just play like this. And okay, we take it step by step. Still a knight to b5. Together we got like triple attack on the c7 square. It's got to be something about that. Probably black takes now on g3 and then c6 just to make sure there is no weakness on c7, right? I'm not sure what you're thinking about this one, guys. Feel free to type in. And again, I apologize. The TikTok messages, they are not on the chat you're seeing right now on the screen because they're on a separate tab. So I need to remind myself to alternate the messaging tabs so I can see what you guys saying. All right, so looks interesting. Let's go to Wesley and Ali Reza here. Wesley, A4. So what did the boys... Oh, they played the Caro. Let me go back to the beginning. E4, C6, Caro Khan all day, D4. And the advanced variation, D5, E5, Bishop F5, normal stuff, Knight F3. They're all theoretical. Bishop E2. You could have played Bishop D3, I guess. Castle short, H6, Knight D2. Develop. Knight B3. Oh, quite aggressively by Ali Reza. G5, okay. A4, okay, like a little bit of discouragement in terms that if you ever consider castling long, I think white wants to relay the message, to convey the message. Actually, I'm going to push the A5 pawn. So I guess the underlying psychological communication here might be Wesley wants to say to Ali Reza, look, bud, if you're on a castle long, I'm willing to pushing the A-pawn quite quickly. And the A-pawn would also frustrate any knight B6. That would be A5. So what do you do? I don't think you can play C4 because bishop takes, pawn takes, and then there is a queen E2. I'm not sure how you're defending the C4 black pawn. So, again, that is why when you play chess, you don't do one game. You actually play, I don't know, endless alternative games that would never happen. But you need to think them through your mind. So when you play a game of chess, the more you're thinking branches that may or may not happen, you practically play endless number of alternative games. That's fascinating. C5 for black, really? It could be played, to which personally I'd consider maybe C3. Well, obviously the guy moves again. Well, I guess you could play knight D2. I'm not sure C5 is the right move here. I'm not sure. I wonder maybe bishop G7. But then again, still not sure. Let's see. Bishop G7. A5. Sugar. That's it. What does black play? Well, given the fact that Wesley pushed the A4 to A5, I guess black may want to consider castling short now. So castle short. Yeah, I know your pawns are a little bit too advanced. I mean, the H6 and G5, I guess maybe you ain't doing very comfortably with those guys. But then again, what do you play, no? So castle short, and we'll see about that. Let's go to Levon and Duda. Duda. Bishop c4. Oh, the guys traded the queens. No way. They traded queens. There is no juice left. Castle short. H6. H6. Okay, this one looks like they want to draw. It looks like very drawish now. Queen's gone out. Rook f to d8. It's good to have a rook on the open file whenever you got the chance. But I don't see any big plan happening here. I don't see any weakness, neither white nor black, and I'm not sure what do you want to attack. I guess white is going to play one of the rooks on the d. Should you play rook AD or rook ED? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think you could do either, but anyway. Hello, Trent. Good to see you, brother. So rook AD, rook ED. I guess you could play either way. Either rook. Okay, we'll see. Guki MVL. That's a nice, interesting one. Nice E6, and Gukesh didn't move nothing just yet. I got a question. What do you do with the bishop on F1 in terms of developing? Oh yeah, I have to remember, actually, be honest. Our friend on Twitch, Stefan, he said G3 and bishop G2. It may be the case. Maybe. You still have to develop, no? You still have to do something about a bishop and eventually castle short for white, but how exactly are you going to do? This bishop on E3 looks a little bit frustrating. I mean, it defends C5 pawn, right? You want to hang on to that guy as long as you can, I guess, now. But after queen A5, what do you do? I mean, you can play knight C3 now, or what? A3? Nah, you can't play A3. Because queen A5 check, you can't really do B4 because knight's gonna take, right? And if take back, then queen takes the rook. So A3 for white in terms of playing A3 B4 doesn't really work. Stephen just replied rook 8 to 1. I guess he talks about this position here. I think he talks about Levon Ian Duda here. Yes, rook AD. That's what I'd say myself as well, Steph, because rook FE already been deployed, right? You don't wanna move the rook. You've just moved one more time. So rook AD makes a lot of sense. The only hesitation I might have is that maybe you want to play rook AC at some point. So that might be the trick, but I don't know what to say for sure. I'm not sure. You need to pay a little bit of attention about this one too, but I guess not that impossible. It's white's turn, by the way. Yeah, you can play rook AD1. Guys, open up the door. Okay. They open up the door. Oh, okay. Let me relay a quick message. Apologies, guys. We'll be back in a jiffy. Okay, where were we, fellas? Where were we, guys? Okay, back to the position here. So what did we say? Yeah, rook AD probably. Or maybe A3, just prophylactically trying to prevent a move like knight to B4 and then knight to C2, maybe. What can I say? Also this. So you're stopping knight B4 and you're actually attacking E7 twice, that is. H3. Oh. H3 is another prophylactic move. H3 stops any bishop G4. That was probably possible, so let's go back. When Levon played H3, that's simply no bishop G4 happening. You maintain your nice healthy pawn structure. There's no pinning and stuff. Oh, and there is another little cool little detail. There is no dark square black bishop. Therefore, long term, when you want to move your king to safety away from the checks and stuff, H2 is perfectly safe because there is no dark square black bishop. So that's another important little detail. And nice. Let's see, Guki. Nice E3. Yeah, sure, nice E3. Again, developing is never a bad idea. It can't be bad to develop your pieces. If you're not being threatened immediately with blunder, queen loss, rook, forks, and things, developing a piece never a bad idea. It can't be a bad idea. Prague and Samuel. So, something had happened here. Bishop g5, bishop e7, bishop takes, knight g8 takes e7, e3, opening up the bishop diagonal on f. So this guy free to go. c4, shutting off the bishop exactly. I just said previously opens up the bishop, and now black said, no, I'm sorry, Bob. c4 blocks now the bishop. You can only go bishop e2, which he did, of course. Castle short. Castle short, good boys. I mean, that's the whole thing. Rook B. I think I know why. I think I know why. Rook A B8. And probably you do know as well, my dear friends. Rook B8 actually wants to say, I'm going to push this guy down. You couldn't have played the pawn now because the white knight takes it straight away, whereas Rook A B8 supports the black pawn to play B5, and then eventually you may be able to go one more time and hit the knight, aggressively grabbing space on the queen side. So that's something for white to carefully consider. You guys may agree with this one. Do we have a couple of... Yeah, we got a couple of friends on TikTok and Facebook, and that's good. Right. Step says, what about e4 for white? Like in what game? Let me go back a little bit. e4. Where? Here? Oh, I get it. I get it. In this game, yes. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yes, step. Yep. Simpson. Good to see you, brother. Came in via YouTube. Right. Not Facebook, YouTube, but that's good too. Don't matter. e4. Totally. e4 challenges the d5. They take. You take back with the knight. Weakening the c4. It doesn't stop b5, but it's definitely aggressive move. Kind of like it. Yes. e3, e4 makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. I like it. I think not a bad idea. Not a bad one. It can't be bad. And if they take, actually, you could take back with the knight. Potentially, you may have knight c6 then. If you're zigzagging a little bit, e4 takes... I mean, just assuming. e4, they take. Knight takes c4, and then you might be able to go maybe knight c5. It's not bad. I don't think it's bad. I actually like it. I think it's a good thought. And Abdul Fabi. Let's see. Abdul Fabi, what's going on here? Bishop d3, bishop takes g3, makes sense. Takes, knight e7, and g4. Oh, I think I know why. g4 is a little dangerous idea. I think more dangerous for black than for Abdul. Why is that? Because g4 wants to say g5. It's all overwritten. g4, g5. If you don't take, it's devastating because it takes h6 and you got no defenses for the black king. If you do take, though, let me think. I mean, they want to play this for sure. I don't know when, but they do want to play it. You do want to do that, don't you? Or maybe he's going to castle short and then? You do want to play g5, g4 to g5. You do want to do this, but... yeah, but also rook a-c and then maybe this guy. There is a lot of pressure on c7, although c6, and that's that. Then you're going to have to jump back where you were. I don't know. I like g4, but g4, g5, but I need another piece to control that square. Yeah, we can think about this. Back to Wesley Alireza. Where were we? Yeah, bishop g7, a5, rook c, and c3 being played. Probably this, just to make sure that that guy being opposed. We'll see. I guess you could push this guy one more time, but it is Black's to play. It's Black's turn. So let's see what happens here. I'm not sure. All sorts of. Levon Duda. Ah, that's the draw game. This is the drawish one. Rook F8, Rook FD, H3. Knight goes to D5, attacking bishop on E3. This is actually an idea, but they may also play this. You never know. Bishop to D to try to get on B4 if there's anything. Actually, I think you could play this. If knight D5 to B4, I think you could play rook AC. And then you're going to play 3, forcing the black knight on B4 away. I think that's the case. So knight B4, let's say knight D5 B4, and then you play rook AC. You're stopping the C2 forking and stuff. And then you can play 3, kick the black knight away. Makes sense. I think that makes sense. Bishop E6. Well, black didn't play knight DB4 anyway. They did bishop E6. Hey, rook AC1, exactly as I said. That makes a lot of sense. You want to get your rook on open files or semi-open files. And black's to do stuff here. What do you play? Do you play knight C7? No, yes, no, yes, no, yes. Actually, you can. Then again, I think gets quite drawish. Once you've exchanged the queens, so there's no more queen. I'm not sure how many ideas left. So these guys are very strong, both of them. These guys are super grandmasters. So you traded queens, and now after knight c7, probably more stuff going to get traded. I guess it's a draw, right? I mean, I'm not sure black going to play knight c7, but just saying, if knight c7, you do have the option to take on e6. Then yeah, the bishop, the dark square white bishop can play bishop c3. But then again, it's not, you can't force anything. Probably going to end up in a draw. I think board number 2 is going to be a draw, guys. Let's go MPL Gookie here. So bishop e3, knight c6, knight c3 developing. D takes c4. And now white's turn. I'm going to tell you something. Looks to me a little bit frustrating for white here. So Step and Simpson and the rest of our friends, and maybe Sam on TikTok, how on earth do you develop the bishop on f1 now? Can someone tell me what exactly you're supposed to do? Are you going to trade off queens now? Is Gookie going to trade off queens? So queen takes. I assume you take back with the black knight. Just saying. I mean, you kind of can, but you could take back with the king too? Nah, not really, maybe. Actually, that's a good question. So you take the queen, black take back with like what? Might you have something like this afterwards? Yes, Step, that's another way to looking at it. Yeah, knight e5 makes a lot of sense to me. Depends what black takes back with. So keep in mind, we don't know what black recovers with. It could be. If the knight on c6 is on d8, yeah, you could play knight e5. And then maybe you push c6. Depends. I mean, there's quite a few questions. And then, yeah, you may want to take back on c4 with the knight and stuff. It could be long castle as well. Very good observation, Step, this evening. Yes, it could be long castle. Why not? After you exchange the queens, I guess castle long is definitely an option. Definitely an option. Yeah, I agree with you. So let's see what Gookie plays now. Looks like he's like 20 minutes less than MVL. He's spending a little bit of time. Well, frankly, if you're starting with 90 minutes, I think you do want to just get at least in a middle game in which you are, let's say, at least equal. So not a problem. He can speed up later on, I guess. If he trades the queen, he may get a draw, though. Mind you, if he trades the queen, he might get a draw. But probably when you do whites, you don't want to draw, right? But you do whatever you can not to lose, though. Prague Samuel. Let's see. Prague Samuel. Hey, that's interesting. Castle short always. Good. Why not? Rook b8 to pushing b4 successfully. And Step said something about e4 being played here. If I remember correctly, that's what our friend's idea. And I found it very interesting. But no, he plays b3, challenging the dark pawns. Now, I guess if you take back, white takes back with what? With the queen, right? I guess. Well, black doesn't have to take. I think black can play b7, b5, and then if you take on c4, I guess they take back with b, opening up the b file for the black rook. That might be an idea. That might be a thought. Well, absolutely. Okay, we'll keep an eye on this, guys. Abdul Fabi. Let's go Abdul Fabi now. Hey, dude, I did say about g5. I did say about g5. Hey, we've seen a castle long here. So let me just take you back in time. Conceptually speaking. So g4. c5. Opening up the c. And now, believe it or not, Abdul castle's long. After c5, after move c5 being played, Abdul castle's long. Now I understand it's opposite side castling, right? I mean, white gonna push the G and H, and black's gonna push the B, C firstly and stuff. I get it. Rook AC makes a lot of sense. Actually looks a little bit freaking scary. If you're asking me, after rook ac8, I don't want to have the white pieces very much, I'll tell you. It just looks a little bit scary. I guess you got to move ASAP rook away. Rook c8 is giving me nightmares. I mean, it's a poetical license. I won't be losing sleep. But if I had whites here, I don't like it. And guys, you won't believe what Abdul plays. G5, which I did say it's a cool idea anyway. But boy, oh boy. Now let's look at this as objectively as we can. If black captures on d4, you could take, for instance, with the knight. Or maybe not, maybe with a pawn. So if they take, you take back with the pawn. Why? Because you don't want to let the black queen take on g5. You want them to take with a pawn. So you could virtually maybe push this guy too. You want to open up the H. As much as black wants to open up the C. So I'll tell you something, guys. I think board number 5, Fabiano Caruana versus Abdusattorov Nordibek. I think board number 5 is actually the most spectacular, maybe the most interesting game. We're going to see a very positional, tactical attack GH for white and C open C file for black. I think we're going to see Queen A5 soon enough. Queen A5 looks good. Taking on D4, I think looks good. Pushing C4. Would you push C4? I don't know. I don't know what to say. No, you don't push C4. You know why? Because if you push C4, white's going to play bishop F5. Not sure. If it's anything, I guess you want to take on D4, if anything. I guess. But yeah, I think we could. Hello, Mr. Woody. Yeah, opposition. I think I had a last video on YouTube and TikTok about the direct opposition. There is a stuff I've analyzed from one of my students and friends Matthew, and I've explained the direct opposition. So if you want to have a quick look at that video, Mr. Woody, you would get some ideas about the direct opposition. Very important in the end, in the king and pawn versus king, is very important, the direct opposition. If you're the last person placing the king in front of the other guy's king, they will be forced to give you access. And you may be controlling the promotion square. So that's very important. Have a look at that video, and that might be quite useful. Now that's an interesting position here. Let me go back to Wesley Alireza here. Castle short. Rook Fe. Yeah, okay, Rook Fe. Maybe because knight d2, knight f1, and then you're jumping g3 or e3. Maybe knight e3 because you block your bishop, right? So knight e2, knight f1, knight g3. Whereas, yeah, so you keep open the dark square diagonal for the bishop. And you play knight g3, attacking this guy, pressure on h5 eventually. And okay, that looks good, I think. That's a good plan for the zigzagging of the knight. Knight d2, knight f1, knight g3, knight h5. Good. I think it's good to have in mind where ideally should the white knight on b3 arrive at. So, yeah, okay. c5, bishop c4. Yeah, probably he didn't want to have that bishop blocked in after this. So he said, you know, at least let me attack something. Okay. Okay. The last move played by Wesley. Bishop b5. Okay. c4 being played. Bishop is shut off now. Knight being attacked, by the way. So you could do something with white. I'll tell you something. You could take firstly the knight. You take the black knight. Because black can't take your knight. Because if they take your knight, you're going to take the rook and you winning material. Therefore, after bishop takes d7, the correct approach for black is queen takes d7. Queen takes d7. And then you have to sort out the knight. Probably you're going to go, whoopsie, knight to c5. Oh, I like it. I do like it. Knight to c5, attacks b7 and attacks the queen. I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's bad. I mean, it makes sense. This Wesley guy is super dangerous. Awesome, awesome, awesome player. So again, bishop takes d7, forces black to take back with the queen. Sorry, I don't see anything else stronger than this. Knight c5 attacks queen and attacks b7. That's very good outpost for now. It's a very good outpost, so to speak. Yeah, I kind of like it. There you go. Bishop takes d7. I'm happy to see that he plays the stuff that we are imagining ourselves. Queen takes d7 automatically and knight c5. There you have it. Cheers to that. Exactly as I thought I would play myself with white. And I'm happy to see Alireza did the same responses because it looked to me quite forcing. Quite forcing. Now queen has to go. So we could say, like in chess, we won a tempo on the queen. We say it in chess. The queen has to go. And also the queen has to defend b7. You can't just move the queen anywhere. You can't do that. So I think your options could be a little bit limited here, but I'm not sure if you go c6 or if you go queen c7 or if you go queen b5. Which one is it? Unless you crazy want a second exchange and rook takes c5. You think you're gonna do that? Would you second exchange here? Or is just a bit too much though? I think it's a bit too much. I don't think black rook takes c5. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Queen what? Queen maybe I want to stay away from the dark squares as long as white has a bishop, dark square bishop. So maybe queen c6. Yeah, queen c6, but you ain't gonna be stopping a6. Yes, step. This is a very good idea. Queen b5, one of the three main ideas I said. Queen b5, exactly. And now, step, your idea is just gold. a6 is definitely something. Totally, I guess. Yeah, you want to play a6. Now, let's think about something, though. I don't think it's that easy. If you do a6 now, what if they play b6? Ah, but then you do this. Jesus Christ. Oh, Dios mío, man. Yes, a6 and b6, knight b7, and then you could jump d6. You have to tread carefully here. So actually a6 and black has to take the pawn. And after they take the pawn, you actually take back with the rook. a6 is a very important move, Stefan. Is a very, very important move, actually. Oh, yeah. a6. So we can discard b6 because it's awful after knight b7 and then knight d6. Therefore, again, let's redo the calculation. Wait a minute. Oops. a6. Black pawn has to take. And then you take with the rook. No, you don't take with the rook. It's a disaster. Do you know why? Freaking rook takes c5. A rook takes c5 when you lost the protection for the rook. Then you have to go back. Is this... I think that's exactly how black can play it. But that's a disaster. So a6, bc. You can't take on a6, man. That's a blunder, step. If you do it like this. Gee, man, I don't know yet. I think a6 after black takes, you can't really take that guy on a6 now because it doesn't work. It doesn't work, right? Let me check my other friends. White can double pawns. How do you want to double pawns? What do you mean? Yeah, you could double pawns, but maybe you want to wait a little bit, maybe get some more power on the a file, maybe get a queen or something. So before you commit playing a6, which I think is still a playable idea, but maybe you want to get the queen out first. Forcing some queen straight, then you're going to push on the a file. It's just a thought. I guess it might be played in this fashion. So maybe from Wesley's point of view, queen a4. Let's see what black want to do with the black queen, and then, sorry, what black decides to do with the queens. Exchange, or, I mean, what? I guess they take, and then you take with the rook, and then you can go with a6 as we discussed. I guess so. But until then, we'll see. Interesting. What I say that's the most fascinating one, I think it's board number 5. This one. The sharpest of them all. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So black had opened the C file. Look at this, fellas. They open up the C file. Pawn takes now. H takes G. Now that's interesting. I'm going to tell you something. I think the white king has to go straight away. You have to move that king until it's not too late. And then you have to waste another tempo in order to play the queen away. Probably queen d2. Double attack with the knight on g5. Maybe. That's not to say black won't be able to find any defenses like f6 and stuff, although that will be weakening e6, but, you know. g4 to fix the weakness. And I guess they're going to be playing h4 at some point. I don't know when and how. So Abdu played g2, g4. He didn't play king b1. Is this a blunder, king b1? I really hate seeing the black rook on the same file with the queen and the king. So you got an issue on the c file there. So g4. And let's see what happens next. What does black do here? Mm, there is something. Well, black could do many things. This knight on the e8 doesn't do nothing. So you may want to get this guy to d6, then maybe c4. I think that looks okay to me. Absolutely. Knight d6, knight c4, and then you're going to see how white defends against it. There is some threats here, including this. So if you watch in perspective, knight on d8 on e8 doesn't do anything. So knight, yeah, thanks for the confirmation, Stephen. So knight d6, knight c4, knight e3, they seem very, very natural and normal ways to develop that black knight. Hello, Ernest. Good to see you, brother. How's it going? Absolutely. Yeah, the YouTube name is exactly Woody Tiger. The YouTube name is exactly the same everywhere. Whether Odyssey. So lately, as of late, I've synchronized my YouTube channel with Odyssey, the other platform based in Las Vegas. So it's Soren Chess Coach everywhere, whether Facebook or Twitch or Kick.com or what is it, YouTube or Insta or the same everywhere. So knight e6, knight c4, knight e3 looks perfectly playable. We'll come back to this. All in all, white needs to spend at least 2 tempi. 2 tempi, very important. The freaking king has to go on the b, and the queen has to move away from the c. I mean, white king has to go to b, queen has to go away. Everything away from the c file. If you don't go away from the c, you got a problem. We'll see about that. Wesley Ali Reza back. Knight c5, queen b5. So unless you play queen a4 here, let me just make a paper trail. Like I'm gonna leave the arrow, the red arrow, and then we're gonna come back later on. Queen a4 looks like one move I'm seriously considering. You wanna sort out the queens and then you push a6. So queen a4, see what black does. I don't know what black plays. I don't know. There's many ideas they could do. Play queen a4 and then you push a6. You can't push a6 now. Well, we're gonna be back anyway. Levon and Duda. That's the most drawish game ever in this round number 4 of the Sinquefield Cup. This one is a draw, right? 3-5, 3-5. Okay, as a general idea here, white has 2 connected pawns, right? So that's a connected nice pawn island here, whereas black has 2 isolated pawns, A and C. But in the minute you decide to go, say, I don't know, rook e4, black's going to play this kind of stuff, attacking your B pawn. So how exactly you're going to play? So again, I think with the most correct play, this one should be ending up in a draw. Levon goes rook e5, and I think I know why. There is 2 main things here. You either go with the rook to... Yeah, but black just pushed. Now, right as I was speaking, black just played c4 to c3, challenging. I don't think you can ignore this. I think you have to take this guy straight away. But this one is a draw, guys. So b2 takes c3. Rook takes c3 and attacks this guy on a3. And then I don't know what you play. Probably rook a... Yeah, exactly as I said. B takes c3. Rook takes c3. And now probably we're going to see this move. Rook a5, defending, a3, attacking, a7. Oh no, he pushed the pawn up. Okay. I guess the other one, rook a5, not necessarily... I don't think that was a bad move, right? I don't think that was a bad move. Rook a5, I think, made a lot of sense. You defend and you attack at the same time. Do you know what I mean? You defend and you attack. So let me go back. I think rook a5 can't be a bad move. Unless I blunder something. Maybe I lost sight of something. But rook a5 defends and attacks. So how is black going to respond? They're going to drop the rook on the 7th rank. Because you're going to take that guy, right? And you won a little bit of initiative. Whereas you push the pawn. Well, okay. Now black pushed the pawn. Well, they could play their rook a5 anyway. But okay, what can I say? Probably still a draw, right? Probably still a draw there. Yeah, probably still a draw. A rook a5 or something, maybe. If you do rook a5, black's gonna play rook c6. That's a must. So we could say that this one is kind of a forcing move. Rook a5, rook c6. No, he played rook e4. Okay, I'm not gonna spend more time with this game. Looks a little bit uninteresting, unappealing. I think probably is a draw. 3-1, 3-1. I think it's a draw. Gookie, MVL, Gookie. Hold on a second. Yeah, queen takes. I probably would have played the same. Take back with the black knight. To the rook AD. Okay. Black knight blocks. The black knight on f6 went on d5. Wait a minute. Don't they lose a freaking pawn? Exactly. Don't they lose a pawn here? They lost a pawn. What the heck's going on? Well, you move the rook somewhere safe. It's Gookie's turn. Can't you just go back with the rook? What's the problem? Rook d5, rook d1, and the game continues. But all in all, you got 7 versus 6 pawns. So is that a problem? It might be something when the pawn goes up, down, so to speak. If you take, then this guy might take here. I don't know what to say. But what I do know is that the white rook has to go. That's what I know. You have to move that rook somewhere. I don't know where. I would just go rook d1 just to make sure. I would just go rook d1. And 3-4-7, 3-3-6. White is up a pawn. By the way, the pawn is defended by the bishop. So, yeah, but probably rook ac. I'm not sure how you're defending that guy anymore. I'm not sure. Rook ad, exactly. Rook d5 to d1. Exactly what I said I would play. Probably he wanted to make sure he covered a lot of possibilities here, but rook d1, of course. Black's turn to move. I'm looking at this. What other moves? Can you push this guy? Or maybe a bit too early? You give them double pawns on the c, man. I don't think that's a bad one. Actually, Stefan, if you're looking honestly here, you could play rook ac8. I don't say no. But a move like c3 gives white 2 double pawns. I see. You're looking at... Oh, I see. I understand. b3. Yeah. I get it. That's why you guys are smarter than me. Absolutely. c3, white doesn't need to take your pawn, but instead they play b3. Interesting. Yeah, that definitely can be. So should we probably reverting to rook a8 to c8 maybe? 2 candidate moves. I'm leaving them on the screen. Yeah, Levon and Duda, Krzysztof, they've drew, guys. What I did say, the most uninteresting game this evening, Levon and Duda. They drew exactly as I said. If you, I think I was talking to Stephen some time ago, and we did say that this one is so uninteresting, so to speak. Apologies if I hurt someone else's feelings, but this game doesn't look incredibly spectacular. The boys just traded everything, so nothing left. Rook ac8, there you go. Rook ac8, cheers to that. We did debate a great deal, and the MVL came to the same conclusion. Rook ac8. I like a lot this move, bishop d4, a lot. That does so many things, and it ticks like a billion boxes. Bishop d4 ticks a billion boxes because the bishop f8 can't play. Well, hell, they can. Bishop takes c5, but what about bishop takes g7? Oh, sugar. Bishop takes g7. Rook has to play here. Where do you go with the bishop? You go with the bishop here. Look, this is something. C5 can't be protected now. If black decides to take, what do you actually do? Do you take on G7? Do you take on C5? Do you drop C3? You don't do nothing and you play E3? What exactly do you play after bishop takes C5? Again, bishop takes C5, just saying. You have to look at everything practically. Bishop takes G7. Rook has to play G8. I don't even know if that pawn has to be taken, given this. Then where do you go with the bishop? You go with the bishop, say F6. Then they could play, I don't know, stuff. So is that a poisonous pawn or not? Knight C6 is great, Stephen. It's a very, but you don't take C5, you see. I think you could play Knight C6. I'll tell you what happens. You play Knight C6 with black. Then bishop drops C3, Stephen. So Knight C6, I mean, I understand. Don't get me wrong. I understand the idea. Okay. What if they play E3? Okay, they don't play C3. They play E3. If you take the guys, the bishop on D4, then pawn takes. I'm a pawn up, remember. Still complicated, but I think Knight C6 is probably a decent option here for black. I think it's a decent option indeed. Knight C6, E3. Knight takes bishop, E takes. Yeah, but you don't know if they're going to do that. On the other hand, you have to do something with the bishop on F1. You can't just leave that guy there undeveloped forever. Knight C6, maybe bishop G4, you're saying. I don't think it's that strong, bishop G4, Stephen. I recognize, yeah, okay, but it's not that strong, I guess. If it's to do something, black-wise, I think MVL needs to get a bishop on F8 to grab this guy on C or something. You can't stay with the bishop on F8 forever. I don't think so. Now, you have to develop that bishop, man. I think G7 is a poisonous pawn. I don't think white is meant to take G7 because of rook H to G. Bishop E7, I think it's probably a good move. Bishop C5, I think even better. I don't think bishop C5 is bad. I don't think it's bad. G7, I think it's a poisonous pawn. Honestly. Would you actually take on G7 knowing that rook H goes to G8? So, I don't know. Yeah, well, we'll see. Let's go Prague and Samuel here. Hey, yeah, that's also an old idea of our friend Stephen here. Yes, E4, always the center break. Yeah, you break through in the middle with E3 to E4. Can't be more natural than this, of course. Absolutely. Prague is a very, very precise, serious player. I don't know, I think Prague is the most terrifying amongst those guys. This guy seems like sort of like a machine or something. Like he plays without feelings or something. He's just cool calculation. I think Prague is the most terrifying, I guess. Perceived as. I think he's probably the most likely contender to world champion rather than Abdo. I think Prague is the real deal. The real deal. E4. And you've seen the move that actually Prague did play it. So be proud of yourself, Stephen. Kudos, brother. E4. Okay. Nodi and Fabi. Fabi and Nodi. G6. Would you take on G6 with the bishop now, or is just a bit too much? I guess it's just a bit too much. It can't be correct. The king is still on the c file. I think white needs to waste the tempo, get that king out of the c file. It pains me to say, but you can't keep the king and the queen on the same file with the rook on c, right? So you have to waste a move here. You have to play king b1. You have to play king b1 and stuff. You take one g6, okay. So let's assume you take, right? F takes, just a little bit of calculation. Queen takes check. And then black has to play, well, they don't have to, but they could play knight g7. Have you got any special pressure or something? You do. You have knight takes g5. Is this scary or I'm deluded? I could be. So let me look again. Bishop takes g6. Bishop takes g6. F takes g6. Queen takes g6 check. If knight blocks g7. If, then you play knight takes g5. Like threatening queen h7 checkmate, right? Stephen, what do you think honestly about this idea? Or is completely misevaluated? Do you think I'm completely wrong? I'm dead wrong about this? Bishop g6. Well, bishop g6, fg, queen g, check. This is check. You go on the h with the king, or you block with the knight. I'm still taking knight takes g5. It's the mother of the progress. It's not just progress. I think it's quite an idea, but have I missed something? I guess given the fact that Abdu has 1 hour 22 minutes, I think he could spend the next 22 minutes just thinking about this next move. Honestly, is bishop g6 that much of a disaster? Hell, you're actually taking 3 pawns there, and you're having queen and knight to g5. If that ain't frightening, I don't know what is in this position. Now, you may wonder, did Fabi didn't see it? I mean, he didn't see it. He played g6 like he wanted to say, yeah, sure, take on g6. I don't have a problem with that. Do you think there's, I mean, what do you think? Okay, let me calculate again. Bishop take g6 is a serious move. Can they do anything else rather than taking? And if they don't take, what exactly do they do? No, they have to take. Bishop g6, pawn takes, queen takes, check. Knight g7, knight g5. I don't see anything wrong with this plan. If they don't take your bishop, okay. Okay, they don't take the bishop, fine. Exactly, Step. So that makes me wonder: is has Fabi miscalculated it? What happened? If that's the case. So reason I'm asking you is because I want to make sure that some other people see it similarly. I think it's playable. I think it's more than playable. Yeah, I think it might be just simply winnable. Unless there is an in-between move for black, but I don't see it. Yeah, the knight on c3 is pinned, but who's challenging that knight? When? I don't think the black rook just take on c3 like this. I don't think so. So then again, bishop of e6 will also be hanging. Yeah, exactly. Good point. Great observation. Exactly right. Yes, sir. Bishop on e6, a little bit hanging. Knight coming to g5, threatening simply checkmate. I mean, we've got a checkmate threat. Again, unless there is some in between move that black can play, and but I don't see it. I'm going to leave the paper trail exactly like this, and we're going to come back to this very interesting position here, in which white can, frankly, give a bishop for like 3 pawns and check the heck out of the black king. So that's, I think, a problem for Fabi here, but we'll see. Wesley Alireza then. Okay, we've seen that. Knight c5, queen b5 out of the attack. h4. Oh, he castle short. Yeah, well, they castle short ages ago. I confounded with another game. Knight h2. Double attack on g4 here. That's double attack there. Black stern. Well, they didn't move nothing. He didn't move nothing. I guess the idea to playing h5 jeopardizes the dark squares here. So I think that's the reason for which black doesn't play it automatically. Amongst many others. I guess there's some other ideas as well. So h5, I don't know what to say about h5. So maybe not the best. But anyway, we'll see about that. You're talking about what g3 seems wrong. Let me see. Oh, what g3 in this position here? G3 now? No, you're talking about another game. This one is a draw. Gukiv. This one, I don't know what this one is. Here. Oh, sorry. Let me go back. What? Let me see if I get the right stuff. Here, G3. But wait, it's Blackstone. Oh, I see. I see. You're thinking about Alireza playing G3 right now. Oh my God, he played H5 as we speak. He just played H5. The move I said I'm not super convinced maybe because of this. Is that a problem? It feels a little bit poisonous, the B2Y pawn, right? Bishop G5 attacks a knight. So black's not going to take the pawn. He needs to defend the knight first. Nah, man, I think H5. I'm not sure about H5. Interestingly, he didn't play Bishop G5. He played Knight F. You want to go this way? So I guess after Bishop G5, black could have played Knight C6 straight away, but I'm not sure. Look, there's many ideas happening. Aren't you supposed to play Bishop G5 here? Is this a bad thing? How bad is this? Because if queen takes b2, so let's say the black knight goes, I don't know where, g6, c6, you name it. And if ever black touches the b pawn, we've got this. How is this bad? I think it's great. G3 now for black. Well, G3 now definitely not playable. They can't play G3 now because the knight is on F1. But I wonder from an attacking point of view if maybe bishop C1 to G5 would be better here. I'm not sure, but just it's an attacking move, by the way. Bishop G5 attacks the knight. You can't take B2 with the black queen. You have to save the black knight. So I don't know where they go. Knight F1, a little bit defensive. But then knight G3, knight E3. Maybe knight G3. But then bishop G6. You stay with the knight there forever. I mean, almost forever. Very many ideas. Okay, this is Wesley Alireza. Gookie MVL. Wait a minute. Yeah, if you remember, we discussed about bishop takes c5, Stephen, if you remember. So rook ac, of course you do remember. Bishop d5, okay. f6 to shut off that guy. I think bishop c5. Okay. e4. Bishop takes, rook takes. Knight d4, attacking the bishop a little bit, but anyway. Bishop d7 retreats now. How are you going to take on c4? I guess you got to play something like this. White's done to play Gookie 50 minutes and such. Many minutes here available for Gookie. Bishop e2, bishop f3, maybe. Bishop e2, bishop. Okay, you have to develop anyway. I don't like g3 still, I guess. Yeah, bishop e2, castle short, and take it from there. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Probably a draw. Probably this board number 3 is going to draw now. I'm just thinking maybe. Hi there, Picholombro. Bishop e2, bishop f3. Yeah, could be, perhaps. Prague Samuel here. After e4, nothing had happened. Heavy silence. Samuel is thinking deeply now. Abdu Fabi. This is the biggest mystery. Fabi played g6, and the biggest question now if white should be taking bishop g6. Because I really don't see how black actually defends against. And the question was if this is a misevaluation. If you misevaluate this one and play it, this is the moment when you actually lose or win. You see, this kind of moments are like defining for the game. So bishop g6 is incredibly committal. Are we missing something? A bishop for 3 pawns, and the black king is completely naked, right? After you take g6. Okay, the rook, after they take the rook attacks on f3, but the problem is not the rook taken on f3. The problem is actually for black. Queen h7 after knight g5. So let's do this again with red paint here. Bishop g6, f g6, queen g6 check. I assume knight g7, just give an example. Knight g7, knight g5. So you actually move the knight to g5 and you threaten h7. That can't be comfortable for black here. You have to do this. If you don't do it now, I think Fabi gonna defend against it, and that would be it. Really, if white doesn't play bishop g6 now, I guess Fabi gonna find the defense. I think. It might be, but rook c3, Stephen. Rook takes c3. I don't see the big deal. You take back with b. Black doesn't even continue by checking your king, you see? There's no check that black can throw at you. They could do queen a5, but still slow, and you don't have pieces to deliver something lethal. You don't have pieces. A bishop for 3 pawns, I think it's great. Yeah, I think we're going to find out. We're going to find out. Yeah, but that seems to me bishop to g6 very much. h4 is a bit too slow, Picholombro. I think h4 is just a bit too slow, and it's not clear. I guess you could. No, yes! Stephen, that's it, brother. Bishop g6. That is the freaking stuff that we said that white should play. And we didn't have no software, no nothing. You see, the human mind works if you give it a little bit of time and space. Yes, man, bishop g6. We weren't wrong, brother. We weren't wrong, so bishop g6, exactly. It's got to be working, man. If Abdo concluded in this fashion, I'm telling you that's the right one. Fabi can ignore it, but I mean, I get it. He ignores it. Fine. I guess we can continue with check here. They're going to go in the corner. Then you're going to get the bishop back. Or maybe push h4. Like there was a friend of ours on TikTok, another platform, and someone said h4, if I remember correctly. I think is a line of attack more problematic here for black. So I think we can establish that black actually cannot take on g6, right? They can't take on g6. It's too much. Queen g6, knight g7, knight g is just too much. Assuming king h8, you don't have to play. So again, they don't take. You said knight d6, you said. I think white now, after knight d6, white has to continue with h3 to h4. Very important. Very important in this fashion. And once you take on g5, if given a chance, you may even think about sacking. Just to get the, I mean, just try to figure out some ways to deliver some deadly stuff. It could be knight f6. I don't say no. I don't say no. I think it's a matter of black defending the knight d6. I think knight f6, Stephen, absolutely. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. There's a problem. Knight d6 might be a little bit too slow. It's such a sharp position here. It is such a sharp position. I'll tell you something. I don't know what the software would have to say about this, but I'm telling you something. It is incredibly psychological. This is what we call in chess an incredibly psychological move. Upon verification, taking on g6 doesn't work. It's actually terrible, very, very bad. So queen f6, there you go. It's a defensive move and attacks indeed. Attacks the knight on c3, mind you. My goodness. Jesus, man. So you could play check, king going is going to go, and then you play this. I mean, just giving you a very quick plan. I don't know if that's the most objective way to respond, but just saying. Very difficult. Okay. So now white has two pieces en prise. Bishop and the knight on f3. So bishop h7 check, king has to go, forcing, and rook df. That's the only way I can look at this position, followed by maybe knight e5, attacking the queen, and pressure everywhere. Other than that, I don't know what to tell you. This one seems to be the most normal way to continue. Again, very psychological, and I guess white can dream about pushing the h afterwards, and very stiff, and this is incredibly, incredibly complex and complicated, yes. I mean, it's exhausting, man. It's exhausting for us as bystanders to get through all these ideas, to assess the position as it moves every single turn and stuff, and to keep thinking about various scenarios. It's very complicated. And psychologically for them players, I mean, for the players is even more exhausting because, you know, the psychological burden is huge here. And it drains you completely, you see. So you need tons of mental stamina to get through those calculations. And converting whatever advantage you think you might have. I think it's very difficult. Yeah, so bishop h7, king h8, and rook d to f in order to prepare knight e5, and, you know, that's that. Right, it's almost 8 p.m., right? Oh, boy. All righty, fellas. So thank you very much for stopping by today. You can check, guys, the TikTok or YouTube archive, in which I did a couple of uploads lately. And hopefully, guys, I'm going to see you again tomorrow for another live stream. And take care of yourselves, be good and be wise, and see you guys very soon.